Okay, I will say though, does it actually look that different from just a normal braid? I don't know. Else with bangs, if anybody else has bangs, do you bother putting makeup on your forehead? Because I just don't put any on my forehead anymore. I just had like a direct stream all down this. I think it's fine. That doesn't really work. Hi everyone, welcome back to new vlog, new week at Oxford. We're getting into crunch time because I have 2 essays due, not this week, but next week. So it's gonna be a bit of essay writing this week, I fear. One, I'd sent in other videos. I'd submitted a draft to a professor. I was thinking probably we'll be getting the feedback probably today or tomorrow. I haven't gotten anything yet, so hopefully we'll get that soon, so that I can fix it up because I think it's gonna need quite a bit of overhaul. But yeah, and then just still plugging away at the other one. I'm also prepping because I'm gonna be teaching next week, which I think is gonna be super fun and I'm quite excited about it. And it'll be nice because it's like 3 hours every morning for the week. But then after that, there's no more commitments for me. So it's nice, like, it's just good timing for me when I have like those other assignments that week as well. But yeah, I think it's gonna be quite fun. I'm excited about some of the stuff that I've thought up. So yeah, that should be cool. But this morning I've been at home so far, but I'm going to head out and find a spot at a library is the plan. And yeah, I have like a video call with someone tonight, but other than that, no real plans. But yeah, I have to figure out, because Anika and I are going into London later this week for something. To be continued. I'll share more about that later. But yeah, kind of gotta like figure out logistics of what we're gonna be doing. So I feel like we should figure that out sooner rather than later, because that's gonna be Thursday. So yeah, let's go to a library. I'm not totally sure about this outfit. You can't see it. I love this skirt. I love the shape of it and the way it flares. And I think it will be easier to style in like true summer because you can just, I think because like it's so much that it will look better with like a skimpier top, which is why I've kind of put it with something that's just like skin tight because I love it, but I want to give, you know, Chloe Sevigny, if that's how you say her name, I want to give her, not her character on Big Love, if you catch my drift. But I do just love the shape. But yeah, I need to have like, it's one of those things that like requires more thinking in terms of styling than some of my other stuff, but I do love it. And I think it's cooler than like the really stiff A-line denim skirts. And then I just got it with like some ballet flats. What do we think of this jacket with it? Because I was gonna wear this kind of fluffy one because it's brown and cropped to the correct length, but then I was like, well, maybe if we want to like go cool with it so that the skirt looks cooler. I wear my barber too, but I think that that's too long because it'll hit more like here, which I think will just look weird with the skirt. Ball bam. And I don't have anything in it yet, but I've packed my laptop, but I'll just wear that bag. forever to get through this book because I keep, instead of just like binging it, I've just been reading like a couple pages at a time, so it's taken me forever and I'm still like, I have so much left to go. I really like it. Like, it's not that I'm only reading a couple because I'm not interested, but I feel like it's more circumstantial to my actual life because things have just been really busy lately, so I haven't felt like, oh, I can just like sit down and like really focus on this and binge it. But I am really liking it. But this isn't how I usually like to read. I'm not like a slow, like couple pages here and there kind of reader. Like, usually when I start a book, I finish it in a day or two because I just sit down and plow through it. So this is out of the ordinary for me. I don't like dislike it, but I don't like it either. But yeah, my goal this year was to like read more during term time. And I was gonna try to read like at least a chapter like before bed every day or something, so that I was still like reading every day for pleasure and not just for school. Which I haven't really been holding up to that, but I'm gonna try to like actually do that because I think it's good. And it's good to like look at a book and not at my phone before bed, although I don't know that this would really help me sleep because I'm probably more likely to like stay up all night and keep reading than I am to like just read the bit and then, oh, now I feel sleepy and go to bed. But I do think that it's like a good habit to get into and to not just like stare at my phone. Good morning, guys. So it's the next day now. Last night, Anika actually wound up coming over and we got shamrock shakes because it was St. Patrick's Day yesterday. I don't think I've ever had a shamrock shake before. If I have, it was a very long time ago and I don't really remember it. They're kind of disgusting. They just taste like toothpaste because they're just like straight peppermint. I think they are probably like a bigger thing in the States because I asked Anika if they were the same. And I think that they are like the same like flavor-wise, she said, for the most part, but like the American ones will have like shamrock sprinkles in it and stuff, so it's just kind of like more of a thing. These were just like green. I think they would be better. McDonald's, if you're watching this, I think you should add white chocolate to them because the toothpaste flavor is just like a bit overwhelming, and I think we were discussing, we were like, I think like chocolate would be better. Then it would be kind of like mint chocolate chip, but I was like, chocolate would probably make it not green, which is kind of the whole point. But if you do like white chocolate, it's also sweeter, so I think it would like counterbalance some of the toothpastiness. So that's my recommendation. Get McDonald's on the phone. They need to know. So that was what we did last night. Very exciting. But yeah, today I'm just going to head to a library. I think I'm gonna try to get a seat at the old bod, but you know, we'll see if I am successful or not. If not, I will regroup and go somewhere else. Not sure where yet, but yeah, that's my plan. So I'm going to skedaddle. So it's later in the evening now. My hair looks a bit weird, but it's because it's drying. But yeah, so I wound up I like spontaneously decided to go into Independent Cafe when I walked by because it was nice out and wasn't actually crazy crowded in there for once. So I sat in there for a couple of hours and then I cut through the meadows to go to the library, and I actually wound up going into the rad cam. Again, it's nice because like we're technically the breaks, like the term time is kind of more, I think it's more relevant to the undergrads than it is to postgrads, because our terms tend to, like, or our work time in our classes tend to extend beyond like the 8 weeks. I mean, I think that the undergrads also have assignments that are due over the break and everything too, but the undergrads actually have to like move out of their accommodation during term time, which is crazy and would suck. But it basically means, long story short, the libraries are like fairly empty during the break weeks, which is kind of nice because like in places like the RadCam, it can be it's always very crowded, so it's kind of nice when it's quieter. So I wound up going in there for a while, and then I came back here to have dinner, and I carried on doing a bit of work here. And yeah, I've just made a to-do list for tomorrow because I just want to be more productive. And there's also just a bunch of like little random things that I need to do that I don't want to forget. So yeah, made that. So hopefully we'll get most of that done tomorrow. And I think I'm going to just read a bit before bed, so yeah. Hi guys, so it is Wednesday morning now. I'm gonna spend the morning here because A, I want to eat lunch here because I have food. And secondly, I'm doing my sheets right now, so I'm waiting for my laundry to finish. So I'm gonna work from here and then probably go to the library afterwards. We will see where I wind up. Yesterday I was gonna go to the old bod, but I wound up at the RadCam. I'm considering actually going to the English faculty because I have a book there that I would pick up potentially. Let me actually double check that I still have it, because I checked this out for my history essay, but then I'd kind of like set my history essay aside to work more on my B course paleography one. So I haven't actually like gotten it yet. Okay, so it's not there. So I'm going to have to collect it I'm going to like re-request it. So I'll probably, I could read it at the Weston. Maybe I do that. Yeah, because often with the RadCam, I have to go to like, I mean, I could take it upstairs and read it, but because my name starts with an S, I wind up so I have to go pick it up downstairs in like the Gladstone link, which looks like a prison. I don't actually know why people like choose to go study down there, but sometimes they do, which is strange. So yes, I've just requested this book, so it'll probably be here tomorrow or the next day, which is fine. I don't need it today. I just thought, oh, maybe I'll go pick it up and then just work from there, because I'm still kind of plugging away more at my B course essay. I did get the feedback on my history paper this morning, and it was exactly what I'd been expecting, because basically I'd been writing my essay kind of on Perpetua and Radegund, which I think that it doesn't not make sense to write them together. I think it's just for the length of the essay, it's harder to make those connections apparent in the space that you have, because you're trying to address what you want to address for both saints, but then it's like, it's hard to pull it. So I think like if you were writing a book that was about like reading gender into the lives of saints, absolutely you could do that, and you could have, you know, the chapters or the sections on each, and you can draw the connections between them, because basically like the main thing that I found interesting between them is that Perpetua's is a very early martyr account, and it's written in her own hand. Like she writes her diary herself, which is very rare. And I mean, rare to have them writing it themselves, and very rare to, especially for a woman, to have a text written by a woman. So we had that. And then Radegund's life, you have one that's written by a male hagiographer, and then you have a second sort of like edition written by a nun at the monastery that she'd founded. So someone that like knew her and studied under her. And again, written by a woman, was just like very rare. So I thought it was interesting to kind of look at two different lives written by women. So I do think that there is logic in reading them together. It is kind of the difference between like an English versus a history paper, because like when I did the presentation and everything, I feel like for a history paper, that is almost like enough to kind of justify writing them together, because you're doing more of a literary analysis and you're looking at, you know, the logic there. But then like talking about when I was presenting my paper, a lot of the questions were like, have you found anything yet that sort of shows that maybe Radigan had read Perpetua and everything, and like here are maybe places you could look to try to see, which I had thought initially that of looking into that, but I wasn't really sure where to look, so it was actually something that I wanted to ask during my presentation, and I did get some recommendations and everything. But basically the main feedback was like, I think just for the space that you have, it's better to focus on one. And maybe you can draw like a bit of comparison, but not making that like the core structure of the essay. So, which is kind of what I'd been anticipating, but I decided not to like completely rejig it before I got the feedback, because I didn't want to like pick one and then have the feedback be like, I think, like if I'd been like, okay, I'm just gonna like overhaul this and just focus on Perpetua, and then I get the feedback and he'd say like, oh, I think your discussions of Radigan is stronger. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to like put all my eggs in one basket and be like, actually, you probably need to rewrite this again and focus on the other one. So I've been like collecting sources and stuff that I can look at, but haven't like overhauled the essay yet. But now that I kind of have that info, I'll be doing that this weekend and next week. So, but he recommended Radigan, by the way, which I think does make sense. I find Perpetua's text perhaps more engaging just like to read as a reader, but I think there's probably more to Radigan's for the sake of this essay, because basically, yeah, what I'm looking at is it relevant to read gender into to read this through the lens of like gender and a gender study through the lives of saints, and this saint specifically. So yeah, makes sense, but nice to get the feedback and keep getting after it. By the way, I finished this book last night. So I did the thing that I said I hadn't been doing with this, and I just binged it. But it didn't take me very long. Like, once you actually get going with this, it doesn't take very long, especially because it's YA. And I would say it's like, not like middle grade, but it is, I would say, like younger YA. But I don't think that it's feels too young to read as an adult reader. I think that it's still entertaining and still like gripping and everything. And I liked it's not super predictable. It is like, it's a weird sort of thing because it's not an adaptation exactly, but it sort of is. It's almost more of a prequel, but it's a prequel where we already know kind of the basics of the story. And I've been really enjoying it. It's in that kind of like cozy fantasy genre, like feels a little more like low stakes or kind of chill fantasy. So if you're in the mood for something like that, I would really recommend it. And if you know, love Tinkerbell and like the Pixie Hollow universe and lore, I would recommend it. The only thing that like, I found the ending quite unsatisfying. And it's another weird thing where like you go in and you know exactly how it's going to end because you've been told in like the Disney Fairies universe how it's going to end. But the thing that I didn't like is that like the entire book is building up to something else. So the ending still feels illogical. So here's gonna be like spoilers if you care, so you can maybe like skip this. But basically the entire book is building up that Clarion is going to like reunite the Winter Realms with Pixie Hollow. And she doesn't, and if anything, she kind of like reinforces the divide. And, you know, going in, it's kind of like the star-crossed lovers trope. I knew how it was going to end, especially with Mallory and Clarion, but I wasn't sure if she was going to, how she was going to play out sort of like the boundaries between winter and the warm seasons. Because basically, at the start of this book, the Pixie Hollow is divided seasonally. So you have spring, summer, and autumn are all the warm seasons, and they all work together. They all interact all the time. There's not really the boundaries between them. And then there's the winter court, which they have nothing to do with each other. Like, none of the warm season fairies have met any winter fairies. They like see them from the distance as they're like ushering in the new seasons for the mainland, which is like the human land. They really have nothing to do with each other, and they're kind of like, oh, dangerous, bleh. And then the basis of the book is basically that there are these like creatures coming in, they call them nightmares, and they're attacking Pixie Hollow, and they're coming from winter. So Alvina, the current queen that Clarion is like, she's about to have her coronation, she's about to become queen, but Alvina is like her predecessor, and she wants to completely like permanently sever the winter from the rest of the courts. But Clarion's always been really drawn to winter, and she's like, this would be really unnatural to like completely separate them off. This is wrong. We can't just like leave them to fend for themselves. So she like goes to the border, meets Mallory, who's like, he's the warden of the Winter Woods, he's the Lord of Winter, he like governs the winter realm, and the two like work together to like defeat the nightmares. So they accomplish that, but then like basically winter fairies can't go into warm seasons or their wings melt, and warm seasons can't go into winter or their wings like freeze. But we see over the entire book, Clarion goes into winter all the time because her friend Petra is a tinker and like makes her this coat to keep her wings insulated. So yeah, warm seasons probably can't go live in winter and vice versa, but they can for short periods of time if they have like adequate protection. And like, it's not insignificant amounts of time. She's not just like popping over there for 5 minutes. Like, she's going, she's like reading books, she's traveling throughout winter, she's like going to a ball at one point. So it can be done. And we learn from the Keeper of Winter, who's like Winter's historian, that used to be how Pixie Hollow worked. Like, warm season fairies used to come over to winter all the time, like go ice skating, have a few laughs. But somehow they've gotten separated at some point. And they don't really like know how, and it's not in Pixie Hollow's living memory, like why it's the way that it is now. But basically, Clarion in her like final battle with the nightmares gets kind of hurt, so Mallory is like taking her back to Spring and just goes over to Spring with like nothing protecting his wings, so one of his wings breaks. And I thought we were gonna get Petra like creating some sort of device that helps him continue to fly, and whatever. I knew that Clarion and Mallory were gonna somehow be separated because like that's what you know from, if you know that from the Pixie Hollow universe already. But I didn't really like how it ended with the courts, because basically it ends exactly where it starts, except arguably the divide is like stronger, because Clarion's like first act as queen is to forbid any fairies from crossing the border. So yeah, they like wave at each other from across and they're like, now we're gonna work together, except they're like forbidden from actually meaningfully interacting. And it just felt like a very weird tone and note to end on, because like for the most part I think it's like a very hopeful message. You have Clarion, who's literally like made from a wish. She's made from like hope, fighting against nightmares, which are like made from children's fears. So they're made from like fear and despair and anger. And then you have Clarion made from hope, fighting against it and overcoming it. Very like hopeful symbolism. But then you have this just completely dividing them at the end. And I know there's like only so much that Alison Saft could do, because you're writing a book like with an established ending already. Like, you're writing a legend that already exists. So, but it just didn't make sense because the entire book is like building up to something else. And I'm okay with the bittersweet ending, except that it doesn't make any sense. That it's not like logical to what there's like, the entire book is building up to something else. It's not building up to this decision sucks, but it's the only one that can be made at this point in time. And so that was a bit frustrating. But so I think that like it could have been done where maybe that's how you end it, because that's how you have to end it, because then, you know, later Tinkerbell comes along and I think that they like officially like open the borders, like open up the boundaries between spring and winter, like in the movies. Then fairies can cross over and they somehow like are able to protect their wings and everything. but you've already seen in this book already established that like that's possible and can be done. So Clarion's whole thing is like, I need to say goodbye to Mallory because I need to remain completely impartial in order to rule, except you're already making this decision and being partial, like you're making this decision based on this like prejudice. She's making it based on her own emotions, not what is logical and possible for the court. And so because there aren't those threads woven through earlier about like, this is the only thing that's going to be possible at the end, there's like no solution at this point in time. It doesn't feel satisfying. So yeah, well, I did enjoy it for the most part. The ending got me feeling some type of way, but I liked the rest of it, and I'm glad that I read it because yeah, it's very like nostalgic and cozy if you like Tinkerbell or were into the Pixie Hollow stuff at any point. So yeah, I would recommend it, but I'd also be very curious what other people think about the ending and about like how that kind of works in something that's like a prequel and is already like, because it's not something that's like adapting or is like loosely based on or inspired by a legend, like something like Lucy Undying. That doesn't have to end the same way that Dracula does, but this, like with what it's doing, what it sets out to do, does kind of have to end with the same setup or the same like ideas what you have in like Secret of the Wings or whatever the next Tinkerbell movie is that deals with this. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Okay, I think I've dilly-dallied around here too long and I can't be bothered to go out somewhere. So I might just, for a change of scenery, because I've been working here all morning / early afternoon, I'm just gonna go down to the common room maybe and do stuff. Hopefully there's not a bunch of people there. Sometimes there are people down there being weird. So we'll see.
So basically what I'm doing right now, I've done this already, but I kind of like keep going back and going over it again because for my essay I'm looking at like a bunch of different witnesses, so different manuscripts that have the same poems of Chaucer. So I just picked like a couple of the shorter poems and I'm sort of like looking at transmissions of the text basically and like differences in the witnesses. So I'm kind of like going through and looking at all the different poems, which like I've done already, but you know, there's multiple poems, multiple different manuscripts, so I kind of like keep going through to like refresh my memory and look at what I want to look at as I'm writing and figuring out what else and you know, developing each sort of like section of the essay. But yeah, it's just kind of like fun to see.
Hi guys, so it is Thursday today, and I'm just working at home again. Very exciting stuff, but tonight is going to be fun because Anika and I are heading into London to see April J perform. So basically if you're on BookTok, you will have heard some of April J's songs. I think she just has one EP out right now, but basically she like writes kind of like pop songs that are inspired by book tropes. Like I think Morally Grey is probably her best known song. I feel like I can play a little bit of it without copyright. I feel like don't want this video to get taken down, you know? But that is the vibe of it basically. So yeah, a lot of like book, kind of like fantasy romance novel inspired songs. So I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be fun. It's at the Grace in London, which never been to before. Don't really know where it is. Don't know what the vibe's gonna be, but I think it's gonna be quite fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it should be quite a good time. But today, until we're leaving this afternoon to go into London, so I'm just gonna work from here, honestly. I thought about going to a cafe or a library or something, and then I was like, I just didn't. I was like, I had a bunch of like food to eat here for lunch, so I was like, don't know if it's worth it by the time I go. either come back for lunch and then wait here or whatever. So I was like, I'll just stay and work here again. And then tomorrow I will venture out of my cave. Last night I trimmed my bangs. Don't know if you can tell. They look a bit funny on the side. I think they look okay when my hair is down, but when my hair is up, they look a bit weird. Cause I did the edges are a bit strange. But usually what I do is I trim them and then, you know, next time I shower when like they're actually like washed and lying correctly and don't have any product in it, I like fix up the little bits that are uneven or weird. My family always laughs at me because they're like, we can tell when you're stressed about something because in your videos your bangs are shorter. And I don't know, my bangs being overgrown just happens to always coincide with an upcoming deadline. It's the damnedest thing. So yes, I did trim them. I don't think they're like too short. I think that the sides are just weird. Okay guys, so I just finished getting ready for April J. Anika and I are gonna meet up right away, but I thought I'd show you what I decided to wear. I don't know what to wear to things like this because I haven't gone to that many like mini concerts, but these jeans you may recognize because I did try them on a couple weeks at Anthropologie and they were ridiculously expensive, but I was there the other day and they were 70% off, plus they let me apply my student discount. So really I was just like legally obligated to get them because they were stupid on sale. And I never find jeans that I like the fit of, so I thought they'd be fun. Don't know that they'll be that comfy on the train on the ride in, but that's okay. So yeah, I'm really excited for tonight. I think it's gonna be super fun. But yeah, let's go meet Anika.
Hi,
It's a big head, little body.
big head, little body.
Just to myself, still you're in my mind, you're in my bed, you're in my thoughts. It's history. Oh God, it's just a word to know that it hurts. What? It's hard to say that I'd rather stay awake when I sleep. 'Cause everything is never as it seems. Gotta sink or fall about it to the deep and try. I'm not to believe the truth is if we keep this up and never lose. Get away.
So it is kind of late afternoon now. It's about 4:45 because basically this morning as soon as I got ready, I headed out because actually the scout was gonna like come by and clean my room. So I was planning on leaving early anyway because I know what time they're here. But basically I just like, she came by earlier than usual, so I was like, thought I had more time, was gonna like explain last night here, but I was like, just gotta go. So I actually, let me backtrack. Last night, April J was really fun. She actually had two, they call them supports here, I guess, or maybe in the biz they call them supports. She had two openers who were both good, different like vibes. One was kind of more like acoustic, like slow singer-songwriter, and then the other one was very like kind of music you'd hear at a club, I would say, like very like electronic disco vibes, disco DJ vibes. And then April J's was really great. She sounded very good live. Was really fun. So, and it was like a nice vibe. It was like a smaller space and it wasn't jam-packed, but she sold out the venue, which was quite cool. It was a cool spot. There was like kind of a bar area upstairs and then the bit upstairs with the stage and everything. It was like a nice space. Seems like it would be cool to like go to different little shows there. So that was quite fun to like see that other little part of London. And yeah, everyone at the show seemed really nice. We talked to some other girls there who were very fun, and yeah, it was just like a nice night. And then in the end, we were gonna go through the merch line because like Anika got a t-shirt and stuff, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a sticker. And then April J actually came over after, and she'd made like bracelets to hand out to people. She was like, you know, like the first 20 odd people in the line or whatever, she made these little like goodie bags that she was handing out. So I got one. Mine says Morally Grey. I think, what did Anika say? It was another song name, but I'm actually, so she's just released a new song, or is releasing a new song called Good Girl, and at first we thought that's what Anika's bracelet said when we were just like looking at it through the bag. She was like, I don't think I can wear that out and about, but it's not what hers said. I don't remember which song it was though off the top of my head. But yeah, so at her merch table, she was like handing those out and meeting people. So we kind of went through and met her, said hi. Anika had actually met her. She went to one of those like Starfall balls, like the book balls that they do, and April J was there playing. And Anika went and met her there, and April J actually remembered her, which was very nice. So got a couple photos, and then at her merch table, she was also selling bookmarks, and Anika was like, oh, could you like sign one for me? And I was like, that's smart. So I asked her to do the same for me, and then she actually just gave them to us, which was really, really nice of her. So then I was like, I definitely have to buy something now. So Anika got her t-shirt and stuff, and then I got her little sticker. So it says Morally Grey Book Club, and it's very cute. I love the book theme. So yeah, I'll probably just hang that on my like pin board or something. But yeah, I thought that was a really cute idea, especially I think she has her own book club. I don't know if it would be on Fable. Anika said it might be on Goodreads. She couldn't remember. But yeah, she has her own book club online, and obviously she writes a lot of songs that are like inspired by books and BookTok. So I was like, that is clever merchandising. So yeah, it was very nice. Everyone was just very nice, and it was a good vibe. So had a lot of fun last night. And we didn't actually get back super late because I think that the show ended like just after 10. So got back in reasonable time. But yeah, on the way home, I was like, I'm going to put this in my pocket so that I don't drop it like I did with my Richard II program. It fell out of my back pocket on the way home, which I realized when I got back, and it was not in my pocket. But this morning I was like, well, I'm gonna go to Waterstone's Cafe. Maybe I'll just like walk the same path. I'll walk by the train station and just see if I see it on the pathway. And it was sitting just right in the middle of the sidewalk, and apparently it hadn't rained or gotten damp last night at all, so it was in perfect condition. So I've rescued it. I was both stupid but also got off to a good start this morning. And then I just, yeah, went and worked in the Waterstones Cafe for the morning, and then in the early afternoon I was at the Old Bod. And then I actually had a video call with my history professor to discuss my essay, like just some of the notes that he'd given me and everything. So I ran kind of what I'd been thinking by him and got the thumbs up on what I was doing and how I've been thinking about kind of like rejigging the structure. So that's all good. Now I just have to actually do it, which is tiring. But yeah, we're getting through it. But yeah, I'm just gonna be here for a bit longer because actually this week I'm also teaching. So some of the kids aren't getting here until Sunday. Hopefully there was a fire near here at Heathrow, so hopefully their flight isn't canceled because the guy who's like running it, his flight, he was supposed to get here today, or he was supposed to get here last night, I think, and his flight, he got like 2 hours and then they had to turn around and go back because yeah, there was this like massive fire at a power plant near Heathrow, and it's provides Heathrow with like all of their power. So crazy. So all these flights have been diverted. His was completely canceled. They're like, there are these other flights they can get here, but no word yet on if the student's flight has been canceled or not. They're supposed to fly out on Sunday, so I guess we'll see if Heathrow is back in working order. Hopefully they can come, or like come for part of it at least. But yeah, anyway, a few of the organizers and adults and chaperones and everything are here. So I think we're doing just like a chill dinner tonight. So I'm gonna work on stuff until then and then probably go for dinner, then come back and do more work. Very exciting day. But it was nice because we are basically back to spring weather again. So I just wore this out. Didn't need a jacket or anything. Felt very nice. So it's this cardigan, and then this is just like, it's a dress with the cardigan over top. It's just one of those H&M like strappy floral summer dresses. Because I think H&M, of all the stores of that like same genre, they do the best spring summer dresses. And I stand by that. They have the best like strappy, like midi, easy breezy summer dresses. So this one has like a bit of a lace up back, which is quite fun. We're not quite at the point of spaghetti straps yet, but we're getting there. So as you can see, I got rained out on my walk home. And it's been a while since I've checked in. Basically missed my Saturday because I just worked at home, so it really wasn't all that exciting. And then today I went to the Old Bodleian Library, and then I was kind of all over the place. I went to the Old Bod, and then I went and I worked at like the tables, the kind of cafe area at the Westin for a bit, and then I was at the rad camp for another little bit before I headed to Corpus Christi College because we were doing like an orientation for the teaching thing that I'm doing. So kind of like didn't really meet the students. I mean, they were in there and they all introduced themselves, but it was like for the orientation, so it wasn't like one-on-one meeting them. And then I wound up staying for dinner with all of them, which I didn't know I was able to do, so that's why I did not realize that I would still be out when it was supposed to rain. So I got caught out without my umbrella on the way home. But yeah, just kind of a busy weekend of doing all the work kind of stuff, which was a bit tough because I kind of started to feel not great the last couple days. I think it's just like, honestly, because there's been so much going on, but it's okay, we're powering through, getting stuff done. So yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited to do the teaching stuff. I think it's gonna be quite fun. And so next week there might not be a video because basically like 9 to 12 I'm teaching, and then the rest of the afternoon all week I'll probably just honestly be in libraries all week. getting stuff sorted, so I don't think it's gonna be like too exciting, and there are obviously like things that I can't show or anything, so I might not vlog. Maybe I will over the weekend, we'll see what's going on, but yeah, so that's kind of the plan. But yeah, for now I think I'm going to end it here and say good night. Thanks for watching, and probably see you in a couple of weeks. Okay, third time's the charm. I don't know. Hi everybody.